video, I want to talk about the risk management. So I've got my standards check in a few weeks. So the risk management, at the start we say, I've got the dual controls, and I'll keep the car safe. But the risk management changes throughout the standards check, so we need to keep constantly on top of that. So the trainer ensures that the pupils fully understood how the responsibility of risk will be shared, but that changes through it. So you can say, well, I'm happy to do a parallel park if you do the observations, and then what happens is that they seem to manage it quite well. So you say, well, do you want to take responsibility for the observations now? So at that point, I'd back off and let them do everything. So you'd say, you get their agreement. So you say you've done the parallel part really well. Do you still want me to do the observations, or do you want to take the responsibility for that? So the responsibility for risk goes more towards the learner. So were directions and instructions given to the pupil clear and given in good time? So we need to explain at that roundabout, and we're going to take the third exit, but it can be a bit confusing. It might be a bit, it might not be turning to the right as such, it might be just only slightly to the right. So just explain these things nice and early so that they're ready for them. So the trainer needs to be aware of the surroundings and pupils' actions. So we need to be aware, is the route appropriate? So is it a nursery route for a learner that's just started, or is it a difficult route? We need to sort of make sure we match the route to the learner. Now, was any verbal or physical intervention by the trainer timely and appropriate? So we need to be able to, depends on the situation, but we need to give them verbal instructions. Sometimes we have to give them a leading question to get them to do what needs to happen. So do you think we need to stop at that pedestrian crossing with that pedestrian coming up to it? So it's like a leading question to help them. And if they don't answer that, then we might have to sort of say it again if we've got time. If not, we have to go for the dual controls. But we want to do it has to be appropriate. If you give people plenty of advance warning, we don't have to jab the brakes as I've done in the past, but just nice and gentle, and get them to respond appropriately. So when it's potential safety critical incidents, sometimes we have to pull them over and talk to them. So we need to give them sufficient feedback on that. But the key thing is that it's the risk management is a process that changes. So it's not a question of just explaining the dual controls at the start of the lesson. It's actually that moves as you go along. So sometimes the risk balance changes where the learner will take more of the responsibility for the risk.